Hello and welcome to episode number 44 of Just Shillin'. I am one of your hosts, Shawn Hoffman.
And I am your other host, Andy Bell. Happy Wednesday, brother. How are you?
Happy Wednesday to you as well. I'm doing a lot better. I can
Good.
think more clearly. I won't say I think I'm at like a 96% charge. Like I'm
Excellent.
right there. It's like the just the remaining stuffy, like remaining little bits. But otherwise I feel fine. I'm doing good. Uh we got a little we got a little snow here yesterday, which hopefully by the time I'm done in here is melted and gone because it's too early for that.
hmm
Uh in my book, at least, in my opinion. Um, but other than that, man, I mean, it hasn't been terribly long since we spoke. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot. I laid on the couch for a while. I've done
Yeah,
some
and for
interesting
folk,
things that we'll talk about. But yeah, other than that, man, I've been pretty good.
I was just gonna say for folk that may or may not have missed last week's episode. My friend Shawn joined or hosted the pod last week with COVID, and you did not feel good, did you? And you probably shouldn't have done it. We should have delayed for a week, but
I felt better than probably one would assume. Like I wasn't
right,
miserable. Um, I've learned after getting like even just whatever like colds and COVID. I kind of learned over time after getting it a couple times. Like, dude, if you stay like really caffeinated, like not like overly caffeinated, but you stay like kind of at that Balmer level
yeah,
of caffeination, like you can curb most effects for like
yeah,
half to three quarters of the day, and then it just
nice,
then obliterates you at the end. And so it's like that's better than just being miserable the whole day.
yeah,
And so I was doing great. Near the tail end, I'm like, I think my caffeination, my whatever is getting. I can see the end of the tunnel, like it's coming. So
right.
we may finish this, but I am not going to be able to edit it right now. But
Well,
no, but it was good.
luckily, I don't think it needed much editing. And on
No,
that
it didn't.
point,
No.
massive thank you to Josh for joining us last week. So
Oh
Josh
yeah.
Chapman from Star Wars Spelt Out joined us, and as I'm sure everyone listening will know, the guy is a consummate professional. He knows his stuff. He's engaging. And has an awful lot to talk about with some very valid and some great insight, which I respect from the guy. So yeah, no, it was amazing having him as our first guest on the on a series of podcasts or a series of episodes that we're going to coin the Road to Celebration. So that was part one with Josh. We've got some plans for part two and onwards. But yeah, it was. I think it was a great success, and I'm again really grateful for Josh bringing your professionalism to our little rinky-dink podcast. So thanks, Josh, mate. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. You did. I don't know what I think that was like perfect timing because I was nervous. I'm like, oh my god, am I going to be able to even like provide anything? Like, is it going to be a whole thing, whatever? And it's like, no, I felt good. I was contributing, but then like Josh, like he brought his
Oh
A
yeah,
game and was just crushing it. It's like, yes, I'm able to kind of sit and just sit in the fumes for a little bit every once in a while and be like, all
yeah,
right, I'm here. I'm here. I'm paying
yeah.
attention. I know what's going on.
No,
I'm
you were in. There's
Yeah,
without
yeah.
a doubt it. You know, you were in, and unless I knew you had COVID, I thought you might have had a little bit of a cold, but because you were coming out with the one-liners, so no, all good, man.
That's what I get paid for.
Excellent. So like you, it's been paid. Uh, like you, it's been a short week because we only spoke on Saturday, Saturday our time, and yeah, not an awful lot's gone on. I did promise you an update of the holiday. So the holiday, we took a week out the prior week, and it wasn't so great. If I'm perfectly honest with you, it and I didn't want to talk about it with our guest on the pod because I didn't want to bring the vibe down. But long the
Yeah.
short of it, 2 days into the holiday, our very old girl of a dog, our very old dog, she died while we were away, which was a bummer, an absolute bummer. We have she was an amazing dog. She was nearly 12 years old, didn't quite make 12. She was very old, so we knew we were on a journey,
Mhm.
and we were managing it for quite a few years now with or a few for a few years now, sorry, um, with medication, and there was nothing out of the norm of her usual condition. So there were no signs whatsoever. And then
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, second day in, and it's like, yeah, she's passed away in her sleep, which is nice,
Yeah.
if that's such a thing. But yeah, no, she passed away. Gonna miss her an amazing amount. Dogs are a big part of
Oh,
our
yeah.
family. We have been and always will be a family with animals, and typically that includes a couple of dogs and a couple of cats. Yeah, that was a bummer, and it really put um, it really set the mood for the rest of the week. And while we tried to make most of it, I think all of us, sorry, both myself and Lucy, kind of lost it a little bit from time to
Yeah.
time, um, and didn't feel particularly relaxed when we got back. But these things happen, and it's time to move on. And as I just said, um, we've always been a house with dogs
Mhm.
and we always will be a house with dogs, and there is a massive hole in our house, and so we're going to jump on the wagon relatively quickly. Now, some people may say, "Well, that's not a lot of time to grieve," but it doesn't. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't. This isn't a rebound.
Yeah.
We're not looking to get another dog simply because it'll take away the hurt from the dog
Yeah.
that we've lost. It's because we have we have dogs in our house, and we don't have a dog
Mhm.
in our house.
Yep.
We were down to one as it was. So and so we have um, we're looking to take on a little pup. Um, that should we say? Yeah, she's quite a character. She's quite a character. She's a very angry looking spaniel. In that she's what they call a black and tan, so that's her coloring. She's black and
Mhm.
tan, and her she's got these very fair. She's kind of got like tiger stripes across her belly and across her body, but her face
Yeah.
is black, and she's got these two very jaunty eyebrows made out of that are tan that make her look absolutely pissed off. Our friend Dave Strutt said, she literally has a resting bitch face, and he's absolutely right. She looks angry, 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 angry. And we took one look at her, and supposedly she wasn't taken because she's not as pretty or as
Mhm.
cute as her brothers and sisters. Well, I saw her brothers and sisters, and she how can I put this? She she really stood out for me.
Yeah.
I've always gone for, or I've always favored the the runt of the litter, or
Yep.
the dog that isn't perhaps as marketable or as cutesy as the others. And she just stood out for me, and I thought, "You're coming home with me." So the deal's done. Where we she's just got her last um, inoculations and the last vet visit, and we pick her up on Saturday of this week.
Woohoo!
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, and and it for me, it's logical. For me, it's absolutely logical. And I'm saying to Lucy, because Lucy was, I feel as if we should have give more time and respect to the dog that we've just left, Pepper, the dog that we've just left. I'm saying, well, you got two options available to you. We can sit in an empty house because the girls have left home, so we can sit in an
Yeah.
empty house um, and do the right in air quotes thing,
Yeah.
and mourn for 2 months, or we can fill some time and use the love that we've the love that we have in the house on someone that needs on an
Yeah.
animal that needs it. So that's my approach, and Lucy's certainly come round to that as well. And I stand by, our position on this. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So that was the whole. That was,
no reason to punish yourselves.
no, no,
Like
no, absolutely
like
not.
wait,
Absolutely not.
especially if you have a good
So
one that's ready for a new family.
exactly, exactly. So that was kind of the be all and end all of that was kind of the tone of the holiday. The weather was fantastic. But we certainly didn't get out and about. We didn't feel motivated to do much.
Hmm.
Spent an awful lot of time reading by the pool, which to be honest with you, in terms of the things that we were looking to do, that's one on the bucket list. So in that
Hmm.
respect, um, objective achieved. But yeah, we didn't do much else. Ate out a few times at some really really great places. There's one, I mean, because we've been to this place in Gran Canaria before. There's a few local restaurants that are staffed and managed by local people, and you get away from the madding crowds. Not that it's not too busy during November anyway, but you get away from the madding crowds, and you kind of get to experience an awful lot of great local cooking, which is kind of a fusion between traditional Spanish, because
Hmm.
obviously Gran Canaria and Lanzarote and Tenerife and the Canary Islands in general are an old colony of Spain. But you also get the influence of Morocco. To your point, week before last, we were talking about
Hmm.
where the Canary Islands are based. You get an awful lot of North Africa taste as well. So it's kind of this kind of fusion between tapas with an awful lot of spice, for example, and it's
Hmm.
really really nice, really really nice. And that part of it was great. So let's say 2 out of 5 things we wanted to achieve on the holiday were we achieved, which, bearing in mind the circumstances, was pretty cool. Looking forward to another holiday though. I didn't in any way feel relaxed by the time I got home. But that's the way it goes, right? Um, what else have I done in the last week or so? You've been on my back. You've been on my back about this, and I've got a question for you. So I finally set myself up with an Instagram account. Shut
Yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And at the moment, you're my only friend because I got a question. So I set it up, and if anyone wants to join me on Instagram, it's the same as my Blue Sky profile. So it's Mingana 1972 or 1972. So it's MINGANNA 1972, which is my also my Xbox gamer tag as well. Anyway, uh, I'm on there because you've been on my back about it for goddamn ages now. I've done it. However, what it does offer is for me to cat. As I said, you're the only friend I've got on there. Now, I'm
Yeah.
okay with that, to be honest with you. But it does give me the option to merge with my Facebook account. Now, my Facebook account is very, very different
Oh
to
yeah.
to other social media. It's for family. It's for there's a few business associates and peers at work on that. And I don't really want to cross the streams. I don't really want to cross the streams. Is there an option where I can select the contacts I want to migrate, or is it literally we're going to tie this into your Facebook account and that you get everything? You get everything warts and all, and you've got no choice in this because I can't find the option to curate my friends list on Instagram.
So it's a bit of all of it. It's a bit of a mix,
Got
depending
it.
on what you do. Uh, One, I'm fine with you just being my friend because I just want to be able to send you memes and messages that I think are funny. Uh,
Yep.
that's what I do for Madison. I don't. I'm sure I've talked about it before. She doesn't get on there. I send them to her messages, and then we sit in front of the TV every couple nights, every once in a while, and I just make her watch a couple ones that I curated for her. Um, in terms of the Facebook account thing, so Meta owns both,
Yeah.
and they want to make it well. One, they want you to do it, and two, it makes
Yeah,
it
I mean,
easier
I
to
get it.
merge them.
Across all their real estate, they want to have single sign on. So it's almost like you take
Yeah.
your passport wherever you go. And I get it. I do get it. But I purposely want them to be separate to each other.
Yeah, so
So it's fine.
nothing will I mean, I wouldn't if I based on what your
Yeah.
use case is, I would not do it, because it doesn't get you anything. It doesn't gain anything except for a single login. Um,
Yeah.
because it won't do anything automatically. It won't like add all these friends, but it will automatically expose you your Instagram account to like
to
like
Facebook.
you're gonna start showing up in recommendations for all those people. To be like,
Yeah, I
oh,
don't, I'm
oh,
not.
Andy over
I'm
here,
not.
yada yada yada.
No, I don't want. No, I want. I'm quite blissful in my in keeping family, home, and fun very, very separate. Very, very
Yeah,
separate. No, it's fine. It's not a problem. I didn't know whether there was an
yeah,
easy
yeah.
way around it, but I just got to do some work. Just
Well, there
go
should
through my
be
list and
like, I mean, since I'm the only one, that's probably not super helpful. But like, if you get like a couple of our friends, like it'll start recommending people to you, and you can just like go in there and
yeah,
be like, oh, I know,
and it
bing bong
already
bong bong bong
has,
bong bong.
and it
Yeah,
already has, and I'm guessing it's because you've engaged with that person recently. So, for example, Eric popped up yesterday,
hmm,
and I was like, ah, okay, okay, I won't go crazy now. I'll go offline and talk to Shawn about it. No, that's cool. So yeah, I'm getting up to date with the early 20th century, 21st century, sorry. And I've now got an Instagram account, which is awesome. And that's really been my week. The With the exception of work. So I felt really good about where I was with work because you and I recorded the day before we literally left on the plane that morning, the following morning. So I
yeah.
felt really good about the position I'd left the business in, and it was kind of like, of course, nothing's
Then they
been done.
messed it up.
Nothing's been done. It's like while I'm away, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. And nothing's been done. It's almost like it's kind of like do you this impacts you guys as well? Do you want to fail? So yeah, the last week has really been about catching up on stuff and making and fixing stuff that should have been done a few weeks back, which has been it's been all right. I'm taking my time, mate. My mind's not 100% um into work ethic at the moment. So I'll take my time and it'll all be fixed. But yeah, that's kind of been my week.
It's like
That's
mom and
kind of
dad
been my
went
week.
on vacation and none of the chores
Yeah.
got done around the house.
Yes, exactly that. It's exactly that. It's exactly that. It's like, well, I sent this email. Yeah, did you get a response? Oh, yeah. And what do they say? No. Okay. So how did you respond to that no? Oh, I didn't bother. You were coming back from work. It's like, okay, fine. Okay, fine. We'll get it sorted. So, anything in the news, mate? Have you picked up? Again, we've only had 3 days. It's only been, was it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? It's only been 4 days since we last spoke. So it's been a relatively slim some relatively slim pickings from my point of view. I've got a couple of nice little nuggets that I'll go through. But what about you? Did you pick up anything?
uh, kind of news. Handful of us are starting to get blue sky famous because we're getting followed by people who we do not know. Uh, that's kind of cool and exciting to know have internet robot randos or whatever's, boost the ego a little
Yeah,
bit there. Liking the posts, liking the just chilling post. Maybe we're getting a couple extra listeners. Who knows? Maybe.
that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah.
It
If
is
you're new,
astonishing.
hello.
Just hi. Um, he's the good one. I'm the incompetent one. What was I going to say to you? It is astonishing just how quickly this is snowballing.
Yeah.
Um, and it does make me laugh that just there seems to be a land grab for followers and stuff at the moment, and I'm just taking a step back, and it's like, oh, this is scary. I quite like it being quiet. it's a bit like I don't know. You know what I'm like in public. I mean, I hate
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
people most of the time as it is anyway. But yeah, it's a bit like being in a being a very informal and intimate um, having a informal and intimate dinner with a couple of friends than or going to a warehouse party with 30,000 people in it. It's like, whoa, I know what I prefer at the moment at this time in my life.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's just insane how busy it's getting. I mean, it's
Well, I
good.
feel.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel
it's
it too. Like like I've always liked that network, and I think like it's funny for me. It's like, oh, hey, it's getting really popular, and I'm just trying to keep the wheels on that Star Wars feed. Like, just
yeah,
keep it going, and the more people who keep joining, and it's like hey, it was kind of nice when you guys weren't here and this thing just like worked. But now
Yeah,
it's like, but it is a fun problem to solve. But uh, it is fun. It's
it's
like it's
the
growing. It's
it is definitely growing. I have to say the sentiment and the general vibe is something that I think is really positive, and it's really really nice. As promised, I posted our last update on last week's pod on Saturday night, so maybe Sunday morning, and and then I left the account for 2 days, just to make sure that folk knew that we were moving, and then I closed it down. And I have to say, there's something quite cathartic about it because you've been gone for a while. You've been dipping in and out every now and again on X just to kind of test the water. Um, but in recent weeks, it's been particularly nasty. There's a bunch of folk. Um, there's a bunch of folk that feel very victorious at the moment and
mhm,
quite empowered to say things that aren't particularly nice.
yeah.
And it's been like that. It's been like that for a couple of weeks, but especially week before last, it just got really really outrageous, and I felt good about closing down that account. It's something that I was considering in the back of my mind. Do I just put it on hiatus?
Mhm.
Um, but no, I just want to have a clean break. So I've closed that account, and I will be a lot more active now as best I can. I'm usually reactive, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I kind of look at our friends Emily Steele, Hawes. I look at their posts and I kind of comment on that. I don't really, apart from the pod, obviously, I don't really. I'm not really proactive
Produce
with.
producing.
Yeah, I'm not really producing any content, which is fine with me. Fine with me. You don't want to get to know this old fart. Anyway, yeah, no, but it's been quite liberating, and it's nice to see so much positivity. And I don't know whether it's the algorithm that or the people that I'm engaged with, and the people I don't know that I'm now engaging with for the first time. But the general sentiment is really, really positive, and it's a really good vibe. And I really, really hope that we're able to keep that because, good God, we need it as a world at the moment.
It's a bit of a weird one. We're
Mm.
feeling it out.
Mm.
In an update in the just immigrating segment, Madison did discover that she's actually, I believe, she's capable of getting. I think free. I think she said free. I wasn't fully listening. Um, Just kind of a yeah, uh-huh. Getting a free citizenship to Italy because her grandparents came from there,
Wow. Wow.
and so she could. It's not the top of my list. No shade on Italy, but hey, it's good to
No.
have options that are just options. Period. Just
Well, I mean,
collect them like Pokemon.
yeah, exactly. If it gives you accessibility to the EU, I mean, unfortunately, the UK is no longer part of that. But if it gives you accessibility, a lot better accessibility to the European Union, again, it gives you options. So, you know, I'm a great believer in dual citizenship. My sister, as you know, moved to Australia. First thing they did was to get their citizenship, so they have a dual passport, or dual passports, plural. And it's amazing how they they juggle their passports depending on where they're going in the world, because obviously
Yeah,
it may well or may not, change the experience. There's a heck of a lot of when, the UK voted out of, the EU. The first thing that Lucy did, I mean, Lucy, I think I've told you before, is Swiss, or half Swiss, and she's got her Swiss passport.
nice.
A whole load of friends of mine, um, that have links with family in Ireland have an Irish the Republic of Ireland passports, and it just gives people options. Um, and I think it's a really really good thing. Accessibility to the rest of this amazing world, I think is nothing but a good thing.
Hell yeah, man. So that's
Amy.
my news. That's my news. Not news, but
So
that's my not news.
no. It's cool. It's cool to talk about it, and especially on a slow week, right? There's a few things I picked up this week in the short amount of time that we've had not recording. Um, I start. Oh no! Can't talk about that. No, I can't talk about that. That's what I've been watching. Um, Silo being the Apple TV production that I love, and was one of the first programs alongside Severance that you recommended that I saw on Apple TV, and ever since then I've kind of jumped in and fallen in love with the platform. But anyway, yeah, Silo. We've had a couple of cheeky snippets from a what looked like sequential snippets of what we can expect in season two, and it looks really cool. Looks really cool. We'll have to see without I don't. Well, it's in a snippet, so I don't think it's a spoiler. But we get to see what um, Rebecca's character, what she does after she breaks out of the silo, and where she goes after that, and kind of the what she finds. Because if you remember at the end of season one, she leaves the silo, or volunteers to leave the silo because she's in a lot of trouble with the government of the silo, and she gets to see the secret, which is the Earth is barren, and it's and all you see is her walking off into the distance. Um, and yeah, you this kind of picks up these two snippets, kind of pick up where we left off with her walking off into the distance, and and what she finds out in the wasteland. So it looks really good. Looks
Nice.
really good. I'm really looking forward to that, and I think we've only got 2 days. So I think it's actually yes, it's out on the 15th. So we've only got 2 days to wait. So that's going to be pretty much my weekend. So we pick the dog up on Saturday, and then I can get down and start getting into a new season or a new series. Sorry, that I'm looking forward to. Um, the other thing I saw was there was a D23 Brazil, and I think it comes from there. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it comes from there. There was like a teaser reel, um, an extended teaser reel that had a bunch of snippets, very short snippets, nay small trailers, all stitched together to kind
Mm,
of show to show what was coming up on Disney and on Hulu in the next 12 months or so. And of course, they had. I mean, I was excited about two things: Star Wars and Alien. There's a whole bunch of other stuff there as well. Like a lot of the Marvel stuff was there. So Ironheart and what are they called? Ironheart. Um, I can't remember the other one. I can't remember the other one. Anyway, they had all the Marvel stuff there, as
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
expect. But they also had a snippet, a snippet of Alien Earth, which looks really good. Actually, it looks really good. It's I mean, the production values are immaculate when you consider it against the original film from
Yeah.
'77, and obviously Aliens, the sequel. They've the production design is very faithful, and it looks good. It looks really good. I can't wait for that to be a TV series. That's going to be awesome. Also, obviously, Star Wars. And in Star Wars, they showed a snippet of Skeleton Crew, few extra shots that I don't remember from the trailer we talked about last week, but nothing particularly earth shattering. What they did show though was a bunch of snippets on the Andor coming out April 2025, which looks very exciting. And the more and more I think about it, the more I think that it's going to play a big part of um, Celebration when we
Yeah.
get there. I can't imagine. I mean, the hype around this season is already there. People are
Yeah.
losing their minds over what they're seeing, what they're speculating. Obviously, K2's back. There's the promise of Krennic. It's continuing the story of Dedra. It's gonna be frigging cool. And of course, this falls over. I forgot this falls over because it goes right up to Rogue One. It's also going to have to cover the time that Mon Mothma comes out of the comes out
Yeah.
um, and basically has that big speech about
It's got
the
a
Emperor
lot to cover.
and
It's
the
got a
Empire. It's got a
lot to
heck of a
cover
lot.
in a very short amount
I
of time.
know, I know they're trying to. I know it's quality over quantity, and I know that what was going to be a 5 season run was cut down significantly to 2 seasons. But to your point, it's almost from the sublime to the ridiculous, in that they've got so much to cover in that one season. With I think every 3 episodes is 1 year
I
in
don't
the
think we'll get
five
everything
years.
wrapped up.
I don't think I can't believe we will. I can't believe we will.
I think we'll get Andor stuff wrapped up, and I think everybody else will anybody who doesn't die is gonna get be available for future other stuff.
I'd love that. I'd love that, especially if they, you know, we've seen in literature um, the time periods between Star Wars and Empire and Return of the Jedi done to death. We've
Yeah,
seen it in literature. We've seen it in the EU in particular, but we've also seen it in comics as well, especially comics. Actually, that
yeah,
time
yeah,
between Star Wars and Empire is packed. But it would be good to see it on TV. As a
yeah.
very following the what I love about Andor. Okay, oh god, I'm repeating myself over and over every single time we talk about it. What I love about Andor, it's the everyman story or the anyman story, and having some of those people, um, those inconsequential characters or those side characters to the main Skywalker story, continue their journey around that time. Oh, that's fascinating to me. And I
Yeah.
know I keep talking about Star Wars needs to diversify. It needs to expand into other time periods, and it doesn't. It should get away from the Skywalker story. But the way I feel about Andor season one is that it had nothing to do with the Skywalker story. Not
Yeah.
really. I mean, it was
Yeah, yeah.
the global or the galactic events that were going on was obviously a precursor to A New Hope, but it was really other people's stories that I found so endearing, and yeah, keeping that going would be sick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm very excited for the show. I am hopeful that with some of the side characters that they take some risks and like make some commitments. I guess is a way to phrase it. Like
Yeah,
I think over time I think I've been able to like maybe articulate some of the things that I wish they would do differently at times. Like there's times where it feels very daytime soap or like Rocky and Bullwinkle-ish, where like there's not with Andor specifically, but with just some of the Star Wars stuff in general. It's like there's not the stakes never really feel that serious at times because everybody
no,
besides the main character just keeps going, and then they'll show up in something else, and they keep showing up and showing up and showing up. And it's like just do it, just like make a hard, just rip the band-aid off and like not full Game of Thrones, like to be clear, not be like I want main characters to be dying every
no,
week.
no, no. no, I know exactly what you mean. At the end of the day, that's the beauty of having a narrative that follows the any man story, is that
Yeah,
there's no risk of killing them off, or there's no risk of putting them out of action, or there's no risk of them being not part of the overall hero story, and going down very different lines, or routes. Sorry. No, I'm stoked. I'm stoked, and I hope he
same.
takes as many risks as he as. Sorry, I hope Gilroy takes as many risks as he did with season one, because what we got was a masterstroke.
Yeah, good.
So the only other oh sorry, I was going to put this in my intro. I don't know if you remember when we were talking to Josh last week. We were talking about what we're looking forward to from Japan,
Hmm.
and I was talking. We both talked about the art. We both talked about immersing ourselves in the culture. I mean, for me, as
Yeah,
best we can, because I literally am in and out. And I got stuck over a brand of collectibles, and it was I couldn't remember the name. Couldn't remember the name, and it was bugging me so much that after the pod, I spent a good 15, 20 minutes trying to find it. And
it's
it's
like Koto
Tamashi
Bakoya or
Nation.
something. Tamashi
No,
Nations, yeah.
no, no, it's Tamashi Nations, and in particular the Gremby. There's another brand called
Mm,
Grenby, which is really, really, really sick. And they can be kind of overdone, but Grenby in particular do some really, really good stuff. Sorry,
mm.
as a point of clarification, um, because my mind was blank last week. Um, the other thing that I picked up on was I was going to wait until I talked about what we've been consuming, watching, listening, reading, playing, but I feel for me it's also new news as well because it hasn't been long. I think it was only a week or so ago that they came out. It's been planned for 3 years. Or I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I really don't know. But apparently, Steve Sansweet, the
Yes.
the founder of obviously Rancho Obi Wan and the original manager or the original lead of the Star Wars fan club, um, he's looking to pool his resources with Gus Lopez, Duncan Jenkins, Lisa Stevens, and Vic Wertz, all of which have had a hand in Rancho Obi Wan at some point or another, but also have their own amazing collections of merchandise. That could be toys, it could be cereal boxes, it can be anything. They've all got really really good collections, and what they've been planning for 3 years apparently is to pool those resources and build a museum, and which I'm really stoked for. I'm really, really stoked for. A dream of mine is to go to Rancho Obi Wan and just absorb myself in the nostalgia because that's my, that's my age, um, and my gig, especially when it comes down to retro stuff. But they're actually looking to do it in a prominent city. Now they haven't decided upon which city they're gonna land yet. That's if you like stage two. They're still at the because it's non-profit. It's a crowd-funded exercise to um, pull together 2 million to basically cover their operational costs for a couple of years and
Yep.
pay people like surveyors, like lawyers, like people that they'll need in order to negotiate with city authorities and architects and stuff like that to get the best deal for this non-profit because they don't have an abundance of cash to spend on it. But I'm really, really fascinated by it, and it also made me feel a little bit sad. Sorry, let me explain how I found this out. Yeah, it was on a podcast. It was the Stuff Dreams Are Made Of. Those two guys that spend way too much money on collectibles, in particular props from movies, especially Star Wars. The guy that bought the X-wing for 2 million, for example, that's one of them. And the episode before last, they had um they had a few of the folk. Who do they have on? Let me just Gus Lopez and Steve himself were on this episode, and they were talking about what their vision is. And one of the things that they said, which kind of really grounded it for me, was that Steve was saying, "I'm not getting any younger, and I don't have kids,
Yeah.
and I don't want this to go. I don't want this collection I've got to be stored in boxes and in
Yeah.
mothballs for forever and a day once I go." And it was all about his sorry, not all about. It was also creating an amazing experience for the public, but it was also about maintaining the legacy of what is Rancho Obi Wan, which really really uh, landed with me, and I thought that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I didn't even know it existed. Now, if this isn't news, I'm really really sorry, but I've racked my brain, and I'm trying to think of any of our buddies that have maybe covered this in their news updates, and I can't remember. I can't remember. Um, so anyway,
I think it's still ramping up pretty heavily. Like even like so we talked about it a little bit before we started airing or recording,
yeah,
and I've known about it for a couple weeks now. And even just looking at the page, like the pages for it, it's like, oh, now they have a fourth group because when I first saw it, there was only three collections that were emerging, and now they've got four, and they've the site is like fully it's like a full site now. They've got
yeah,
investor brochures, so it's like it does still feel like it's in the
in
the
the start.
throes of kind of ramping up like the early marketing. Um, besides just getting people interested, like I think they were trying to get buzz, and now it seems like all right, now we're actually going after people who have like like the real money to get it done. Like they can crowdfund this all day long and it's valuable, but getting $10 from everybody ain't going to get you there. You got to now they're sounds like they're really starting to go into the collecting markets and really start ramping this up. Uh
Yeah, and they seem to be on a bit of a whistle stop tour.
mhm,
Um, you know, so for example, they've just been visiting Seattle, um, and they had an event there where they were, where they managed to raise themselves 50 grand.
nice.
Um, they've it's some good stuff going on. Yeah, it's I'm trying to
Put it in
I'm
Reno.
trying to find on I'm trying to find on their website. Oh crikey, it's okay. Okay. It is quite recent actually. They announced it on the 5th of October. Now, okay, we're a month out of date, but this will explain why this will explain why I don't think I'd ever heard of it before. I unfortunately I missed it when it was originally announced in October.
Well,
But
it
yeah,
was hard. It was hard because even I think I missed it by a couple days. I think I saw it around my birthday and was
right.
like, "What is this?" And, like, I got, like, an ad or some stuff on Instagram about it. I'm like, "What is this?" It almost seemed fake because you I thought more people would have been talking about it. But I think it's kind of this chicken and the egg thing a little bit too, because I think there is a sense of urgency because like they were saying, like, they're not getting any younger, but, like, they're putting out to get the money, but they don't have, like, a full formula like, a well-formulated plan yet because they need the money to do that. It's not like it's a business. That's not like
Mm,
it's a crowd like a round of funding for a startup or something where it's like, "Here's our business proposal." It's like, "And
mm,
here's our yada, yada, yada." It's like, "No, we need money to even, like, find a location." And so it does still feel very raw, but, like, it's such a unique thing that
mm.
I'm curious. I wish I could be, like, a fly on the wall for a lot of it because it's like, "Oh, you're bringing together 4 different groups of
Yeah, it's
people in
crazy.
very different locations and like trying to merge this and like
Well, let me read the first paragraph. October the excuse me, 5th of October 2024. Seattle, Washington, Petaluma, California. A new chapter in the Star Wars universe is being written, not only in a galaxy far, far away, but right here on Earth. The Saga Museum of Star Wars Memorabilia. In short, they're going to call it Saga, the Saga Museum. Um, Rancho Obi-Wan and the Saga Museum aims to bring together four of the world's largest Star Wars collections. Sorry, comprising over 1.5 million objects. Shit, I thought I'd run out of space. Into one groundbreaking immersive experience. This highly anticipated museum will offer fans a galactic range of exhibits, programs, and amenities designed to be both fun and inspirational while celebrating the rich legacy of Star Wars. Plans for the new museum were announced on Saturday, so really is quite recent, albeit a month, at a fundraising event at Seattle's Museum of Pop Culture. And then it goes into who's involved, what they're trying to do. Excellent. I'm stoked for that. I really am, and
uh
I hope they make a go of it. Oh, other thing on this episode of uh, uh, What Dreams Are Made Of, um, is they asked the direct question: is this going to conflict with George Lucas's museum in I think it's being built in LA. It was going to be Chicago, wasn't it? But they fell out. Anyway, and the answer was no, no, because if you think about what George is doing, he's trying to show exhibit things that were actually on the silver screen and talk about it's really focused on the filmmaking process
yeah.
itself, the art of the filmmaking process. What we're doing is we're 100% dedicated to the commercial, the merchandise around these um around his stuff, and he's given them his blessing, which I think is wonderful. It's almost like he's given them the golden handshake to go ahead and make this happen. So yeah, really good, really good, and I hope they find a really good home that looks after them and that gives them the appropriate tax breaks because they're a non-profit. And at some point, we can all get to enjoy what's there.
I
So
hope
that,
they find somewhere that has space. Like, I know it's tempting to
yeah,
always go towards, like, the LAs, the San Franciscos, the Chicagos and whatever, like, places that are gonna be insanely expensive, and, like, you end up you'll I'd be afraid of a museum where they'd be too small and they couldn't display the stuff like they'd want. Like, go
yeah,
somewhere with some space, it's maybe just a little bit smaller, somewhere you can get more area and you can just display, because that's like the biggest complaint that a lot of people have with museums. Not to go
yeah,
down this rabbit hole of like, oh, the Smithsonian displays like a fraction of a percentage of the things that they have in their collection at a time. It's like, what are we doing? Like I know that
well,
that's a
they
complicated argument, but
they did talk about keeping it fresh and rotating their stock. I mean,
mhm.
there's no on this planet they're going to keep 1.5 big
Yeah.
individual exhibits in one place. The To answer your question, yeah, I think we might be actually be in danger of that because one of the areas they're um, being approached on at the moment, or in terms of city, city planning, is there's an awful lot of unused um, as retail kind of moves away from major retail or downtown environments to the outskirts of the city and these big malls and everything. There's an awful lot of unused premises,
Mhm.
which an awful lot they were saying. I mean, I'm not from the US, so I can't contest to this. They were saying that they were there's some pretty good deals to be had in the center of cities, which I
Yeah.
don't think probably would work for you. But to your point, it's about the space and making sure they get the best the best footprint, I guess, to exhibit as much as they possibly can. We'll see,
Yeah.
man. We'll see.
Yeah. Exciting stuff.
Um, and that's kind of it from a from news, which isn't too bad for 3 days. Bearing in mind, one part of it was a month old, but hey, what are you going to do? Um, what what have you been watching this week, mate? If anything at all.
I've been watching some stuff. I've been watching some stuff. I'll kind of segue into it with it's kind of news, but it's something I'm going to be watching uh
Hmm.
very soon. And I somehow had no clue that it existed until like 2 days ago.
Hmm.
Um, and that is a show coming to Disney Plus called Say Anything or Say Nothing. Sorry, Say Nothing. And it's based off the book Say Nothing, written by Talks Amongst Yourselves. Um,
Beep, beep.
Patrick Radden Keefe. Very good book.
Cool.
It's about the troubles, like in Ireland and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch of stuff and some family stuff there. I'll butcher the description, but it was a fantastic book, and I'm looking forward to it coming out as a series. And I think it comes out, I believe, tonight. All the episodes.
Wow, everything's landing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. I think it's 9 episodes. Uh, it's not going to be a happy tale, but I'm going to really enjoy watching that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
will
Did you
update on that.
see Did you see Belfast? The
Yes. Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, good movie, really good movie.
Yeah.
And
And
of
I think
course,
I think
Kenneth.
I watched that movie right after I finished reading that book, and so it's
Right,
like
got it.
looking at Matt because Madison had no clue what was going on. I'm like,
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on here in
yeah,
this movie, do you? You have no clue. That was a good movie. Yeah.
yeah. It was a strange time. Strange time. I mean, it was. When was the Good Friday Agreement? How was it in the early 90s? Of course, it was. I mean, I went to university in Manchester, and while I was studying up there, the city centre was bombed by
Yep.
the IRA. And of course, living in the UK, or sorry, living in the UK, um, you get to see one side of the story. And as is always the case with most narratives from our authorities and our governments, it was very much biased towards our side, and it's not until later life that you realize that, and you get older and you get wiser and you look into stuff and you read, that you realize just the amount of oppression
Yeah,
that this nation has brought on other people and other countries. um and you
and
start to see other people's side of the story as well. And
yeah,
it took
and it's
what's so great about the Good Friday Agreement is that there have been a few rumblings since. What's great about it is that the entire the entire population of Northern Ireland pretty much got off their feet and voted, in this referendum to say
mhm,
yes. We this is what we want. We want we want to be self-governing as a country,
mhm,
um, and we want to bring in the end to the troubles. And it was really quite an emotional time for someone like myself that didn't get didn't understand, not really, what was going on. And the kind of life that these folk were living, especially in
mhm.
the main cities. And it was, yeah, amazing. And the really great thing about it, it was the youth, it was the younger generation that drove this change, without a
Yeah, yeah,
doubt. It was you had, parents, grandparents, on both Catholic and Protestant side, um, that that kind of fermented this distrust and hatred from generation to generation. And it was the children, their
yeah,
children, and the youth that said, "No, you know, enough, just enough."
yeah.
And it's probably, one of those landmark moments in time, um, that I will never forget. It
Well,
was
that's
it
what's
was it was
crazy about
pretty
it too
something.
is I'm glad that they're talking about it more, like they're making more shows and stuff about it and writing these books.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, when through I can't speak for all American education system kids, but I can tell you
Mm,
when I was going through school, we didn't learn anything about it. Not a
no,
single mention of that
no,
time period. Uh and I think you could ask the majority of probably people my age and who be like, "Oh, do you know what this is?" And they have no clue. No clue. Maybe from movies or things picked up from there, but like the foundations of it or any kind of anything beyond
yeah.
the word the troubles and the fact that it has to deal with Ireland in some way.
Well, it
Uh
was so recent, so it wasn't part of history for me. It
yeah,
was it was it was kind of, and in fact, my because I studied history at school. Um, so pri- when you're in the UK, you can choose which subjects you take. You got to choose a minimum of nine. One's got to be a language. One obviously has to be mathematics. The other one has to be, there's a English literature language has to be part of it as well. But the rest of them, you can pretty much curate your own education,
yeah,
in the UK. And I studied history both right up until I left school. And history in the UK back in the well, I left school in 1990, which I'm not. 1991, 1991, 1990, one of those 2 days anyway. Um, and history for us was all about the Tudors and Stuarts. It was all about the Elizabethan times. It was all about all the way up to, I would say, the First World War, and then it stopped. And a lot of modern history, what we call modern history, was not was not there, because we're
yeah,
only talking about. I mean, think about 45. We're only talking about, um, 45 years from the end of the Second World War, which isn't a long time. And so we didn't. There's an awful lot. I probably know more about ancient, um, history, the Middle Ages, the Tudors and Stuarts, than I do modern history in the UK, because that was history in those days.
yeah.
That's what you get taught, because it was safe. I guess it could be controlled. The narrative could be controlled. Anywho, yeah. Anyway, sorry, God, that's a long way. Anyway, you're looking forward to a series coming out, which is
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to watching that show and
Yeah,
like I don't know, stuff that's interesting. I'm also looking forward to Dune Prophecy coming soon. That's gonna be exciting. Not to talk about all the stuff we're excited about, but that's one that I'm getting ads for now, and I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
I'm excited.
yeah.
Uh,
Really good.
the stuff I am watching, I'll start with the I'll go from low IQ maybe to more thoughtful. I've been watching. I don't know what's been going on, but I have been for some reason just on a kick of like watching like the deep dive histories of like the Halo franchise or like other franchise
Oh,
game
cool,
franchise. It's just like it's some dude talking for an hour and a half of like, hey, you want to know the entire history of Halo? Or like it's like, yeah,
cool.
I do. I do want to watch that. So I've been watching those for some stupid reason. That's like, yeah, dude, this is good content. Um the I did start a new show. It's not new, but I started a show based on recommendations. I've watched the first episode of Arcane 3 times now, and
My
I'm
man.
gonna start working my 3 times because the first time I watched it, I was like
Yeah,
like a fever dream. Second time, I was like, okay, I think I watched this and watched it, and then kind of like not because it was boring because COVID. And then third time watch, I'm like, all right, yep, I do remember all of this. I got it all
yeah,
and carry forward. So I think I've watched the first couple episodes now. Um,
nice.
I'm looking forward to smash through the rest of it. Very good so far. I'm liking it. I have no clue what's happened. I've heard people talk about it a million times, but it's kind of like when I played The Last of Us. None of it I did retained zero, so it's all very new to me. Uh,
Yeah, and I mean, you remember from the episode we had with Hawes and Steve.
mhm,
It's my number one. It just made me feel a certain way, and it kind of I don't know. It landed with me so well. It captures everything I like about steampunk
mm,
done right. You know,
yeah,
done right with the most some of the most beautiful animation, and that gets better. I'll talk a little bit about season two in a second, but that only gets better and more experimental, which is fucking phenomenal. Um, yeah, no, you'll have a good time. I hope you have a good time. Anyway,
I'm in.
it's it, it 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 ramps pretty quickly, and it doesn't stay in one time zone either. It does leap forward a few years very soon for you. Yeah, it's good, really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna be watching a new movie that came out recently, very soon. That I'm excited for. And it's called Flow. Um, Hoping to watch that sooner rather than later. It's like with a animated cat and a bunch of other stuff, animals. I have no idea what the
Shit,
premise is.
June comes out on Sunday.
Yeah, dude, that stuff's coming like soon.
It's all landing at the same time.
I know. I think that's what I started. Like I've been inundated with a bunch of stuff. It's like, hey, I think that content drought is about
Oh,
over. Like as of
yeah,
now.
dude, this is gonna be great for you and me.
I'm about to
This
say
is
we're getting
gonna
about to
be
get hit with like
amazing.
about 9 different series all hitting at one time. It's going to be
Yeah.
nutso for the next couple weeks.
Sorry, dude, I interrupted you. Flow.
No, no, that's fine. Excuse me. I heard about it a while back. I don't remember what. I think it was like a pick at like Cannes for
Mhm.
like best something. I don't know. I catch wind of it. Like that looks cool. So then I add it to my list, and it's available now, and I'm gonna watch it. And it's supposed to be really good. I don't think there's any speaking. I think it's all animated with like animated animals and stuff. And I'm interested. See what happens.
I'm just reading the premise at the moment. It's got a relatively decent IMDb score. And the premise is Flow is a Latvian, Belgian, French film with no dialogue, only animal sounds. And it follows a cat and other creatures on a boat in a flooded world, facing challenges and dangers. Oh, I'm in. Oh, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, I'm definitely in.
Yeah,
Definitely
so
in.
that's on the short list. If I 'cause I know Madison's interested in watching it as well.
Yeah, that's right up our alley. That's right
The
up our alley.
and the final thing that I've watched that
Yeah.
I remember is I watched the finale of The Penguin,
Oh,
and
yes.
I will not spoil it because I know people haven't seen it, and there's other people
Yeah.
who are waiting and things like that. I'm not, and I wouldn't want to spoil it anyways because it's like doesn't matter. But I will say, fantastic show.
Mhm.
I am I don't want like you know what I mean when I say like I'm very happy with how the show turned out. Like not the things that people did clearly. Like
Mhm.
people know that nuance when I say that. I'm like I'm glad he did what he did or people did things whatever. It's like no, it's they did horrible stuff, but that show had stakes, had emotions, had depth, had not
Mm.
just, oh, I am evil or I'm broken or like leaning into tropes and stuff too much. Like people had nuance, people changed. You could see it. They let the actors act and like portray that change instead of it just being a new day and like, oh, I'm I see things or do things differently now. It's like, no, they
Yeah.
let them act it out. And it's like, that finale was like, yes, not not what I wanted, but exactly what I wanted. Like is how I
Mm.
wanted to feel. Like, thank you for running me through the meat grinder. I appreciate that. Um, like good stuff. And I think I posted about it on Blue Sky. I had a thought there too of like I this and there was some other superhero show that I referenced. I'm like, these are how you do like superhero fantastical shows, sorry, in that universe without leaning into like forced cameos or just leaning into the main storyline. Like you can just be in a universe
Yeah.
and that's okay. And like there can
Yeah.
be nuggets. Oh, Andor. I think I referenced this alongside Andor of
Yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
it can be a thing and be in the universe and it doesn't have to be like here's Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba.
Yeah,
Here's Luke
yeah.
Skywalker walking by in the background. Like those have their place, but this is just like, love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, I
This
had I had every intention to watch it while we were away, but obviously shit got in the way, so but,
oh, it's
I
dark and it's
will.
dark as shit too. Don't like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
not Game of Thrones or like that bleak.
Cheer up.
Like, yeah, it's but it is a I really, really, really enjoyed it. I don't think there's an actor in that show that I don't think like I think they all deserve like a handshake pat on the back and be like, you crushed it.
Ye
Like,
Oh,
oh, every
that's
single one
cool.
of you guys. So
That's really cool. No, that's great, and I've heard nothing but great things about it, and, yeah, yeah, gives you a good feeling that, we're not getting, because we've obviously we've gone through a stage where now we're seeing less and less stuff being made. There are cuts being made here, there, and everywhere, and the concern of that is what's going to come downstream is pretty mediocre. But if they truly, if they are true to their word, and when I mean they, I mean the studios in plural,
yeah,
and they really are focusing on quality, then the future looks really good. Looks really really good.
it's like
I would forever take quality stuff like Andor, like The Penguin, like
well, that's what I
Severance, like Sunny. You
I
know,
agree. I agree 1,000,000%. It's I wanna say it like I'll say it this one time with like the 400 asterisks at the end of
yeah,
like I want less content. I want less content, but better quality content. And here's all the asterisks of like, yeah, but I don't want them to like lean into AI. I want people to still have jobs. I want them to
sure,
get paid well, blah, 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 like
sure.
all that behind the scenes stuff. Like, I want what's good for the worker, please.
Mm,
Like, do all that too. Um, but yeah, like, we don't need to make a billion pieces of content just to get people to watch streaming services. Like, I do feel bad for the Penguin because I think we're still in that landscape of like oversaturated with content and like I don't think it got the shake and the conversations that I think would have come out of it in a different landscape. I think there would have been a lot more week to week conversations, a lot more not necessarily speculation, but just appreciation
mm,
for what it is. It's like
mm,
we similar to the Twitter to Blue Sky kind of conversation. I think as media consumers, I think we're in the middle of this transition, but maybe it's less obvious as well of like we need to get used to stopping smelling the roses, appreciating in terms of our consumption. Like, not that we're the ones to blame. That's not what I mean by that.
I know what you
But
mean. I
I
know what
think
you
that's
mean.
we're in that transition too of like I just blazed through the Penguin. It's like, and here's my 5 second thoughts. It was very good. Moving on to the next thing. It's like no. It's like I almost like crave like I wish we could have had more time with it. But like then you think about it, it's like the Stranger Things effect. It's like the second Stranger Things drops, it's popular for a week and it's gone. It's like,
Yeah, it
oh,
is.
ugh, like
It's
how
quite
do we get back
it,
to that
it
water
it's
cooler
quite
and
it's quite the thing, isn't it? Actually,
yeah.
Stranger Things. It really is. I mean, it is exactly that. And bearing in mind just how good quality it's been, it really is come and done. Um, been and gone. Sorry. Um,
And then you don't care until it comes back out again. Like, and
yeah.
I like that's the thing with like Rings of Power. That's the thing with Stranger Things. That's the thing with all these other shows where it's like they're so good in like a little teeny tiny narrow window of a bubble.
Mm.
I don't know what the solution to that is. Like, I don't even pretend to. It's like I don't want to go back to regular television. No, I don't want that. Do like how do we as a society and consumers and get back to that appreciation level, I guess?
Yeah,
Like,
and I think a lot of that is less is more. I think a lot of that is us getting used to coming together over what I mean. Sorry, let me try and explain myself to by using you and I as a example. There's so much out there that I will go off and rattle off 5 or 6 things that I've watched or completed in a week. You'll do exactly the same. Are we coming together? No, because we're not able to discuss it because not the other person hasn't seen it yet.
yeah,
The time that you and I spent really dissecting Shogun
yeah.
and Sunny, it I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it because we were really savoring what was going on and speculating and so on and so forth. So the more that we can do that, not just you and I, but maybe as a community or what have you, I think that so we're all talking about the same thing,
Mhm.
which we will do for one or two of the things that are coming out naturally, especially when we start talking about Crew and Andor. But
So I'm
I'm
trying to
really
catch up on
hoping.
Arcane. I got a lot to catch up
Yeah,
on, so I
yeah,
can be there
yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah,
end
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
into season 2.
Yeah, and I didn't find Arcane because I've rewatched it about 3 or 4 times now. No, 4 or 5 times now. And I never ever find it a chore.
Mhm.
They're quite long episodes. They're like 40 minutes, 45 minutes a piece, and I've never ever found it a chore because it's just well for me it's just a delight on my eyes and my ears whenever I've seen it. Yeah, no. It'd be good to talk to you about that. It'd be good to talk to you about season two when you get there. And of course, it's releasing in chunks as opposed to all at once, which is good. Not weekly, unfortunately, but it is releasing in chunks, which is a good thing.
Yeah, like the three episode chunks. I think it's got what, like two more weeks left. Like,
Something
are
like
there
that.
9 episodes, 2 or 3 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. But yeah, no, I mean, we've already gone into what I've watched this week, which is the first 3 episodes, and like I said, it's an absolute delight. It really is. It of course it carries on from where we left off, but it also um it it I, what can I say? What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Um, it also isn't afraid to experiment
Yeah,
with breaking out of the mold that perhaps we would assume they're going to replicate for season one, for season two from season one. And I like that. I really, really like that. I won't say any more than that.
I brain farted
It's
for a second. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, no. That was it. That was it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. That is the be all and end all of my televisual experience this last week. It's yeah, it hasn't been particularly hasn't been. What else have I seen?
Have you have you seen the Wild Robot yet? No, you have not seen that, right?
No, 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 no,
Okay,
no,
that's what I thought. All right.
no, no, not yet. Is it available anywhere yet? Okay. All right.
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, moving on. Moving on. So what else have you been consuming, mate? Anything else?
um, I know as soon as I say no and you start talking, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah. But no, I don't think I have. I think that's it.
Dude, my be all and end all has been Silo. I did jump on Outlaws just to have a mooch about. Um, I did jump on because it's still in the console, still in the Xbox, and I thought, and my back was really I pulled my back when we were moving um, heavy cases around while we were on holiday, and I put my back out, and I thought I'll sit in a upright chair, do the right thing, and um, I'll stick on a bit of Outlaws while Lucy's at the gym, and it was good fun. It was good fun. I mean, I didn't do anything. I didn't find anything new. I didn't get any more any new achievements or anything because there's nothing else to do. I think there's a couple of treasures that I need to get, but they're not the kind of mission treasures. They're very much, oh, you hear a chink of coins in the background and you know there's something around here. But so I've just been mooching about and just basically um, quick jumping or what do they call it? Quick traveling to various places and just playing the occasional hand of Sabak. Trying
Nice.
to get myself psyched, trying to get myself psyched up for the DLC, which is coming out in. 'Cause I don't know about you, but I'll play a game, I'll then leave it for a month, which is basically what I did, and I'll forget how everything works. I have to reacclimatize myself to that world, especially when it comes down to the controllers. I'm just gonna look up when it's out, and at some point I'm gonna get you to finish it as well.
So one of our friends reached out and asked me if I'd finished it. I'm like, no, I haven't. I need to get in there. And I'm like, but I'm good. But Madison's going to be out of town. I'm going to go work on it this weekend. And then I got COVID. I got COVID and I was
I
dead
got
to the world.
COVID.
It's like the universe was like, it's not your time. It's not your time to finish it.
Uh-uh.
Not yet.
Oh
And
my
so now
god! November the 21st. It's November is turning into my favorite month.
that's like a week from now.
I'm getting a new dog. Arcane season two's back. We've got June Prophecy coming out, and a week
Are you a Cobra Kai fan?
from
Because those are dropping like
ooh.
crazy right now too.
Oh, the second part of season six. I am, but I'm going to burn through the lot in one go. I didn't see the first part yet.
I
Yeah,
made the mistake of adding, like, TV show and movie releases to, like, my, like, computer calendar that I see, and it's just like, "Oh my god, I have so much
blip,
content I
blip,
have to watch."
blip,
It is
blip, blip.
it's just lists of just shows and content. It's like, God, I don't even know what Shetland is, but for some reason yeah, I think somebody else was interested in it, so it added to my calendar too.
Oh,
It's like,
Shetland. Shetland is that BBC drama based in the Shetland Islands, which is basically a very small Scottish community just off the mainland Scotland, and it's a heck of a lot that goes on. A heck of a lot of crime and murder that goes on a very very small island that has a population of I don't know 3 people. Um,
nice.
but yeah, it's a lot of drama going on there.
Yeah,
But
there is
yeah,
a lot.
21st November.
Then December 2nd is Skeleton Crew.
Yeah,
God bless.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
are
yeah, 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 yeah. It's good. It's good. Sorry, I tell a lie. The Shetland Islands are there are 30,000 people or 22,000 people that live there. So it's
I
still
think
a
that's
small
another one of those
community.
ones where I do not know where that is.
If you think of the if you think of the UK as looking like a boot,
Yeah,
it's in the top northwest
that's
of
kinda where
the
I would
of
have guessed. Yeah,
yeah 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 yeah. Very it's further north than Ireland.
it's like,
It's very very remote,
once you get
very
into those
remote.
islands, like, my geography goes to hell unless it's, like, some random Pacific island that had
Northeast,
something to do
sorry,
with World War
never
II, then I know
never.
exactly where they are.
I can't tell my compass points. I just realised never eat shredded wheat. Naughty elephants. Yeah, yeah. Northeast. So if you go as far as you can on in Scotland, it's then further northeast of that, not northwest. Apologies.
Hmm, interesting. Guess I'll just have to come and visit and
Major,
see it all for myself.
major Nordic influence up there as well. It was obviously one of the first staging grounds for the Viking invasions. Um, but so they've got a massive affiliation with our Scandinavian cousins. Good place to go. middle of nowhere, but good place to go. Anywho, that's kind of I was gonna say that's kind of it for me. I think a week from today, we're gonna have a lot more to talk about. If you can burn further through Arcane, I'd love to understand where you're at, and I won't spoil the rest, I promise. But I've been itching, absolutely itching to talk to somebody about it. It's a bit like, how we were about Shogun. I've
Yeah,
been itching to talk to somebody about it, and then obviously, if you and I agree, it'd be great to talk. It'll be great to talk about June. Um, was there something
Dune
else in it?
Prophecy.
June. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Was there something else in November that we talked about that's
Did I tell you
releasing?
that Madison? Did I tell you that Madison? We had a friend over a couple weeks ago, and I don't know how it got started, but somehow convinced her that we she needs to watch the Dune movies. But she's like, "Well, I feel like I need to watch the original first," and so we started, but we
No.
didn't get all the way through it yet. And so we started watching that, and I haven't seen it in like, I don't know, 30 years or however long it's been. And so
Yeah,
watching that, I'm like, oh, this actually is a really good idea to watch this first because it actually explains all of the shit that would help to know going into like
yeah,
the new dunes.
yeah. I guess it
And it's
does.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, this is making a lot more sense.
Yeah, you've got the princess that is you've got the princess that is that provides the narrative
Yeah.
um at various points throughout the movie. But then on top of that, you've got all this exposition coming out of all these thoughts coming out of the main protagonists in the um during the film that they're kind of telling you in their mind what's going on at this moment in time.
Yeah, save
Yeah,
yourself the YouTube videos explaining the new movies. Just watch the original and you're fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
hey,
anyways,
I think it's delicious. I think it's absolutely delicious. I don't get I don't really I never really did understand the purists hating on the David Lynch version. I never really understood on the David Lynch fans hating on the new versions. It's like it's different interpretation of a story. I mean, there's one thing. There's one thing. Have you seen you've seen June before, right? The original.
but yeah, I saw it a long time ago. Like
Yeah,
I knew the premise, but I didn't know the nuanced pieces
yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
do
yeah,
not
yeah.
explain in the newer ones. And it's like, why
So
is it like what?
there are things in there that didn't need to be in there, but I guess they were in there because to kind of underline Paul's ability. Things like the weirding modules. They don't exist. They don't exist in the book.
Yeah.
So the weirding modules that they use to be in order to use your voice to be a weapon,
Yeah, yeah.
um, that he trains the Fremen on. They don't exist in the book, and they don't exist in the Denis Villeneuve film as well. Um, but they're quite an interesting addition in the David Lynch version. I quite like it. It's really campy, and I think it's delicious. It's a little bit. I feel about June the same way I feel about well, maybe not so much, but the Flash Gordon remake with Sam. Come on, Flash Gordon, Sam.
I did not know they made a Flash Gordon remake.
Well,
Or what
sorry,
okay, what year
sorry.
did this come out?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I mean the film, the film with the Queen soundtrack. It remade the original TV series.
1980. Yes, that would
Yeah, 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 yeah.
explain why I
It's Sam
do not
Jones.
remember that. That makes sense.
It's Sam Jones, isn't it? Have you never seen Flash Gordon? Flash Gordon.
I've seen the originals, like the 30s, but I did not know there was a 1980s Flash Gordon film.
Oh my god, mate! You've got to watch. You have to watch that. You have to watch that. Love it or hate it. You've
Is
got to
this
watch it
a
as a.
is this
It's
a
your
you need to
assignment.
watch it like hardware, you need to watch it, or is it like Caravan of Courage, watch it, or like no, this is like a quality film, watch it. Like what kind of camp are we in with the desire to watch?
Camp is a good word to use. But mate, I would say all of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. It is.
All right, I'm gonna put that on my
There's a
list.
reason why. There's a reason why it's iconic. Um, and is it the acting? Hell no. Is it
Oh, I
the
know what this is. Okay. I see the
right?
poster and it's like that I've seen pieces of this. I have not
Yeah,
seen The
you
whole
have
thing.
to, in order to develop your your pop culture palette, everyone needs to watch um, Flash Gordon from 1980. Killer soundtrack from Queen for a start, um,
You gotta
but
set the bar
also
somewhere.
the absurdity of it all is
Yeah.
hilarious, absolutely hilarious. It is, uh, uh, it's like how can I put it? It's a bit like if you it's a bit like the Star Wars Holiday Special with a big budget. It's that good. And cringeworthy and inappropriate in
It d
places, and
it doesn't
you just
have
have
B.
to watch it.
Arthur singing for 4.5 hours, does it?
No, but it does have our buddy Brian Blessed in a pair of very, very tight speedos with a massive pair of wings on his back, kicking ass, and it is amazing, absolutely amazing.
I can do it. It's on my list. It's not the top of the list, but it's on it.
No,
It's there.
but before the year is out, you have to watch it. It is
That's
honestly, it
fair.
was it's a good yarn. It's a really, really good yarn. Um, God, we can waffle, can't we,
This is
dude?
the creamy caramel center of
Yeah,
the just chillin'
I feel.
candy bar.
Put it this way: you and I have already spoken you and I have already spoken to Chris Hall about this. I couldn't believe he'd never seen Escape from New York. He probably has done by now because he'd bought a big old bunch of back catalogue Blu-rays celebrating John Carpenter, but he'd never seen Escape from New York. Escape from New York is another one of those classics, like The Warriors. I mean, you like The Warriors. I mean, you've got to see
Oh,
Escape.
thank you. Thank you for reminding me of this.
Okay.
pu- I'm interjecting here.
No, it's cool.
Lin Manuel Miranda and Lauren Hill and a bunch of people from the Hamilton cast, and I'm butchering this. They came out with an album of they remake like the Warriors soundtrack, but like in a modern music. But it's like
No.
these women are the warriors and they remade it. And I'm like, oh dude, it just like came out a couple weeks ago when I was in Indiana. And I'm like, what in the hell is this? Let's do it. And it's like, please make this into like a musical or
Yeah,
something. Like, you have all the right people here. Are you just trying to garner support? Because if so, you have it from me. Please remake this. Like,
yeah,
I totally forgot about that. And because I saw it on my YouTube music and it's like, you might like this. I'm like, Madison, look at this. And she's like, what is up with this movie? Why do I keep seeing things on it? Because it's in the news like crazy. I'm like, I think it's the 25th or 35th or 40th, something, 40 millionth anniversary. But there is a bunch of stuff coming out about it. And I'm like, yes, bring back the Warriors. That was so, oh, yes. And the album's actually pretty good. All that to say. Finally, I remembered it. Yes.
it looks good. It looks really. I'm looking at it now on Wikipedia. Um, Concept album for a new music. Oh, it is a new musical.
Oh, so maybe they've announced it that it's going to be a musical now. Ooh.
In August 2023, the New York Post was the first media outlet to report that Lin-Manuel Miranda was working on a stage musical adaptation of Sol Urich's novel The Warriors. In July 2024, it reported that Miranda was completing the recording of a concept album for the new musical. Um, in
Sick.
August 2024, the album's release date was confirmed. Oh, the New York Times at the time said it was unclear if the album will lead to a stage musical, while the Los Angeles Times described early reports that the album was to be a stage production as speculation. Um, Miranda and Davis downplayed immediate plans for production following the album's release, noting at the time they do not have a theatrical producer or director yet, instead choosing to focus on the album as the main goal of the project. Oh, you never know, mate. You never know. This is
I
exactly
can hope.
apparently the same model. It's apparently the same route they took with Hamilton, so you never know. You never
It's
ever
like it's
know.
like crowdfunding almost. It's like build support,
Yeah.
show people what the music will be like, and show them that it's catchy, and then they'll fund it, and then there'll be a Disney Plus
Yeah,
special, and
that'll be
everybody will
good.
be singing those songs for 9 years.
Excellent. There's a list of all the tracks here as well. 26 tracks, starting with Survivor Night and ending with Finale. With Call Me Mercy, Going Down, Leave the Bronx Alive, If You Can Count, Make Way for Cirrus,
You know what? You know what
Warrior
crossover I've
Cipher.
suddenly realized I want. Maybe this is a
Go on.
just crafting conversation. Maybe I should make it Star Wars themed The Warriors with like the different
Uh,
gangs or like the different groups of
oh,
people or
figures.
different things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would
Yeah,
be cool. That would be
it's like
really, really cool.
bounty hunters or something that look like the baseball players and just all retro. Oh my god, I can't do this. I've got to watch shows and movies. I can't go down this rabbit hole.
Hey, mate, if it brings you
No.
pleasure, who cares? Who
Well,
cares?
it's that conversation about the shame pile, the idea shame pile or the work shame pile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
It's
bit
like,
like I mean, what you're talking about is a little bit like that bootleg I bought with that dude that that crossed Star Wars with They Live, and so I've got
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of zombie s Chewbacca, which is oh, pride of place up there. Still need something to put it in to protect it though, but yeah, pride of place. All right, dude, we're good. We are good. Now, don't forget for a few weeks ahead. Flash Gordon's the way forward. And in fact, if you want, I'll when you're going to watch it, let me know, and I'll watch it as well, and we can talk about it the following week.
The Flash Gordon show or the movie. That's
Yeah, yeah,
okay. All right. Yeah, I can.
okay.
It's on my list.
But maybe,
It's on
but
there. It
maybe
will
we
be done soon.
maybe we focus on Arcane and June Prophecy for the time being.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Arcane's top. Then maybe I'll
yeah,
squeeze Say Nothing in there. Squeeze
yeah.
it, and then Skeleton Crew. Then
Oh, I
I'll get
missed
Flash
one.
Gordon in. Yeah, I'll get it in.
I missed one thing. It's nearly wrapped up the season. I think it's on season episode 6 now. Still watching Shrinking on Apple
Hmm.
TV. It's really good. Are you watching that?
I want to. I
Okay.
want. And people haven't been talking about it explicitly, so I haven't felt that
No, I know. You can burn
urgency.
through them. I
Yeah.
mean, they're like yeah, same guys that did, or sorry, an awful lot of the same creators that did Ted Lasso. So every episode's just over half an hour. It's not particularly taxing. Um, they're always a pleasure to watch because
Yeah,
there's
I love that
something
show.
quite wholesome about the whole thing. They've really captured the kind of same kind of special sauce that they have for Ted Lasso. Well, they created for Ted Lasso. But yeah, no, I forgot to mention that I'm still following. I'm still watching that as well, so it's all good.
Nice.
But coming up to an hour and a half, and for what I thought was um, a particularly short week, which it has been, 4 days, you've done pretty well, man. Um, Thanks again for
Yeah.
recording for me. I know I stress it too much, but this midweek is amazing for me. It allows me. I know Wednesday's a pivot day anyway, but it just really kind of gives me a little bit of a pep, a little bit of a
It's like a
kick
little
to
weekend. It's like a little teeny tiny weekend in the
exactly,
middle.
exactly. It kind of gives me a little bit of inspiration to finish the week without burning out. So thank you very much for chatting with me. We'll talk again this time next week, and then over the coming weeks, we'll also look to organise part 2 of the Rome Road to Celebration, where
Yes.
hopefully we have a very, very, very special guest on again. A different one, but a guest on that hopefully, well, I know will have a very, very different perspective as to what that person's going to be looking forward to, but also what their plans are as well. So, yeah, watch this
Exciting
space, guys.
things.
And thank
Yeah.
you as always, everyone, for those of you that listen and that support us. And really, really appreciate it. Sean, take us out, bud.
Well, thank you as well, Andy. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, and I look forward to seeing photos of the new puppy this weekend and all the joy she's gonna be bringing, and maybe she'll give you terrorize you just a little bit for all of the listeners, but look forward to that. For everybody else, we really appreciate you spending your time with us. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Uh, if you want to check out more stuff from us, you can check out our website at justchillin.com for more amazing content and ways to connect. Um, you can follow, like for example, our Just Chillin' or Just Craftin' Instagram pages where we try to post photos and things of, well, one, I like to post memes that are relevant to the topics that we talk about. And two, I do try to post pictures on the accounts of things that like we talk about, like the artwork I talked about last week, um, the toys that we gift each other and things like that. So yeah, you can get links to those there and all that fun stuff. But until next time, we really appreciate it and see you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.